Hey guys, and welcome back to another baby video. Today I'm going to be talking about some of my newborn favourites. I'm not going to call it essentials because some of these items definitely aren't essential, they're extra, but just some items that I've loved using and have found really helpful for the first 3 months with baby Enzo, who is in his car seat like right there on the floor, in case you're wondering why I'm pointing down. But also some things I've used from having River as well. So it's basically just a recap. I think I made one of these videos with River. This is a kind of updated version for baby number 2, but also 5 years later because things change, new things come out, etc. So I'm going to run through. I'm going to start off with clothing bits and bobs because I've got them on my lap. The first thing I've absolutely loved and used loads with Enzo as well as with River are the Bonds Wonder Suits. These were really difficult to get hold of when I had Riv 5 years ago. And they're an Australian brand, and I actually ordered a load from Australia. Now they're much easier to find in the UK, and you can get them from John Lewis and a few other websites as well. They're quite pricey, but I think they're worth it for a few reasons. Firstly, the fabric is very lightweight but stretchy, so if you have a summer baby, they're perfect on their own, but they're also really good for layering as well, and I feel like they are just very kind of adaptable baby items. They kind of like fit all kind of eventualities. They have the turnover hands, which also are quite common now on baby grows, but very handy if you have a baby who scratches himself a lot and gets very cold hands in the night, like Enzo does. River didn't so much, but Enzo does a lot. But they also have that on the feet as well, which is less common. So most baby grows either have closed feet. I think we might have a waker if we can keep him asleep for a little bit longer. Most baby grows either have closed toes or open toes, whereas these are good because they can be either or. Really like these, and like I said, the Zippy Onesies are a bit more common now, but when I had Riv they were kind of a new thing. Not necessarily new, but rare. In terms of Zippy Onesies as well, these ones we absolutely love to Riv. These are from Next, and in general just Next baby clothes are very good quality and good value for money. They're a bit more pricey than a lot of other places on the high street, but the quality is like leagues ahead, and I've always found that with Next children's clothes, is that the quality and selection is brilliant. Most of it I order online because they have most of the nicer designs I find in all the sizes they have online rather than our local ones. But these ones were part of a set. There was this which has little stars on, there was also a stripy one with an embroidered star. I love stars, so I'm always gonna like this kind of design. But this I think this might have actually been Enzo's first outfit. It was definitely one of them. He wore it on the first day he was born for sure. I'd need to look back at the photos to remember which one was which, but yeah, so sweet. Anyway, and they have the little hand mitt turnovers as well, and these are really nice too because they're like slightly thicker cotton. They're not super thin, and they're also not too thick, if that makes sense. Again, along the same vein with the Bonds Wonder Suits, I find it's best with baby grows to get that kind of material that you can either layer up or wear on its own and it's cooler, because a lot of River's ones that we had that didn't end up getting worn so much, more than with Enzo because he was born on the hottest day on record pretty much. A lot of the ones we had with River were like velour or terry, and she did wear them a little bit, but even for her obviously that's pretty limited for like to be a really cold day, if that makes sense. Anyway, another thing that are excellent and I would 100% recommend if you're having a baby or are buying a gift for a person having a baby, the M&S socks. These ones specifically, I will link them below. They're a very specific type of sock. Baby socks fall off all the time, and something about these socks from M&S, they're excellent. They're really long and they have like a double fold down. They're ribbed all the way around, which I think is probably what holds them on. But I had these for Riv, and I kept all of her clothes, and most of them Enzo's worn, obviously apart from the super girly ones. But these are the only socks that stay on, really, honestly. Like, they are so good. I've never had them fall off. They're just excellent. And I saw them again in M&S. They still make the same ones 5 years later, and I bought him a fresh pack because we've lost a few pairs of Rivers, so we don't have very many of them left from her. But excellent. I would 100% recommend those if you are looking for baby socks. They are the best ones I've encountered, and the only ones that like stay on really easily. Another thing that I've loved with Enzo is his swaddle blanket from a brand called, I don't know how to pronounce it, it's either Forever or Forever. It's one word, but it's spelled like for either. This is the most beautiful kind of independent brand, and they do incredible illustrated children's bedding. So this is the swaddle blanket, I folded it in half there, and this is the under the sea one. So it's a nighttime under the sea scene on one side and then a daytime on the other. I've had so many compliments on this blanket. It is just so beautiful, and you could sit and look at it for hours. They are expensive, I think it's about £37, but for what you're getting, it's basically like a piece of art. I feel like you could hang this on the wall, it's that beautiful. They also do like cot bedding and children's bedding. They do muslins that are a little bit smaller, because this is like the double thickness blanket version. But we've used it loads, and just a really nice gift. I find with things like blankets, this is another thing that I always say if anyone asks me like, oh, what do you like recommend as a new mum? Don't buy too many blankets, because for some reason people buy you blankets. It's like a really common gift. So I feel like you don't need to buy too many, and you always end up using your favourite ones anyway, because I find some of them are just not quite as soft as others, and you just don't end up gravitating towards them. This one we've used loads. Another thing that I would 100% recommend is a bath thermometer. This might seem a little bit overkill, especially if you aren't a really kind of worrier parent. You know, you can usually tell if a bath is an okay temperature. You can obviously tell if it's hot or if it's cold or whatever. However, I would say, and I'm not a big worrier as a parent, I'm quite relaxed. These are handy, especially with little tiny babies, because if you get the bath temperature exactly right, they're way more likely to enjoy the bath. It's not just about like, you know, what's safe. Obviously you need to be thinking about that, but if you really want them to actually enjoy the bath and have a nice time, having the bath temperature at the perfect temperature where they're not going to be too hot, but they're also not going to get cold and not enjoy it, is really handy. And we have a rubber duck one. This is just the same one we had when River was a baby. You can get loads of different ones, but I like the rubber duck one because it doubles up as a toy. And we use that with Riv as well. It's also just easy, just put it in, and you don't have to like be constantly like checking to see if your bath's the right temperature. Another thing that is a new discovery with Enzo is Metanium Everyday Nappy Cream. We didn't use much Nappy Cream with Riv at all, and actually I have to say the last month with Enzo we haven't, but the first 2 months of his life he had a very sore bottom. He was pooping a lot before he kind of got regulated and started being a bit more regular. He was just, yeah, he was a poopy baby, and he got a very, very sore botty. And we used this, which was recommended by my sister-in-law, and I've tried a lot of nappy creams over the years. I've tried the more natural ones from like Weleda, Burt's Bees, etc., and then I've tried like Sudocreme, etc. This is the best one. I find Sudocreme really, really highly fragranced, and that kind of, I don't really like it. This one is so good because it sticks to their bum, and it just really creates that barrier that you need when you don't want kind of poo or wee touching their kind of very sensitive skin when it's sore. Very, very good, and also very cheap and available from Boots, Superdrug, etc. And then another thing on the kind of like not medical, but like bath and body kind of side of things, this nail file, which again we had for Riv. I actually bought a new one for Enzo because we lost our one that we had for Riv. I don't know where it went. Maybe I gave it to someone, I can't remember. But this is the Style File baby nail clipper. I think it's called the nipper clipper actually. And so many people I speak to are like, oh my god, I hate cutting my baby's nails. I always think I'm gonna like make them bleed, or like we bite them, things like that. You don't need to worry about it with these. Like genuinely, I've never worried about clipping the baby's nails, because actually, I say that, Mike does it because he is so on it with nail clipping. He always ends up clipping them before they even, like, I would even register to do it. But anyway, I've obviously done it a couple of times, but Mike usually does the clipping. And you don't have to worry about clipping their nails because it's got like a little viewing window. If you can see in the top there, it's got like a little hole in the top, so you can literally see exactly where you're cutting, and they cross over so you can see inside. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but inside you can see the exact line that you're cutting, so it makes it really, really easy to kind of feel confident about cutting your baby's nails, which can be a little bit difficult because they're so tiny when they're really little. I'm going to go through all the smaller things and then I'm going to talk about the larger things. Another thing I absolutely love and we use every single day is our Docker Top, formerly known as Sleepyhead. This one was actually left over from River, and we got a new cover from the William Morris collection. These get so much, there's like a lot of controversy surrounding these. I posted one on my Instagram stories and I got so many DMs, verging on abusive DMs, saying don't put your baby in that. And essentially what that is about is a lot of people are very, very vocal about the fact that babies shouldn't sleep in these. My babies have never slept in these overnight, and like I wouldn't put them to sleep in them overnight. In terms of like the Lullaby Trust kind of safe sleep regulations, they're not approved for like overnight sleeping. They have massive warnings on the item but also on the website, etc., saying don't put your baby to sleep overnight in these. However, what these are incredible for is just having somewhere to put your baby down when you need to put them down somewhere comfortable and safe. We have this on our kitchen island in our kitchen, and we have like bar stools along the kitchen island, and Enzo spends so much time, especially now he's awake a lot more, on this. And you can sit with them, you can do like your face-to-face with them, so they're amazing when they start to get a little bit more engaged and awake and they have more awake hours in the day. They can lie in these and you can literally chat to them. It's a safe space, you know that they can't roll off them, etc. And they're just very comfortable. I find both of my babies have absolutely loved these, and it's just a comfy place for them to be, because obviously you can put them on like a play mat on the floor or whatever, but they're not, it's like a much harder surface, and it's not as comfy for them to be kind of like just chilling. It's basically like a baby sofa. It's like a baby sofa. But yeah, just very, very handy, and you don't have to have the Docker Top version for sure. They're expensive. They do more affordable versions. Again, disclaimer, not for sleeping, just for chilling. And I have to say, a lot of the time, if both of the babies, if they've been like relaxing and you're chatting to them and playing with them and stuff, a lot of the time they do start to drift off in these because they're so comfy, and then you can transfer them into whatever you want to put them to sleep in, Moses basket, cot, etc. But I have to say, we've used it so much with Enzo, and I really rate it. And also love the new covers. They're so nice. The William Morris print covers are really, really nice. And then another thing, this time, this is new for Enzo, this didn't exist when I had Riv, is the LV Cordless Pump. I'm going to do a full review of this because it's been requested a lot. However, I'm just going to say we've used this tons. I really like it. They are expensive, but if you are on the go a lot and it is within your budget to be able to afford one, they are very, very good, and they make pumping so much easier. They basically just allow you to kind of pump on the go. I pump quite a lot in the car. I do like a lot of journeys that are kind of 20-25 minutes, because it's about that distance from me to my mum's house. And also when I'm doing the school run now, I'll be in the car for that long in the morning, and it's just the perfect time to pump when you're kind of sitting there. Put them in, turn them on before you get in, and then just drive and pump, and then you can empty them when you get back or get wherever you're going. So yes, I would 100% recommend these. And if you want to see my full review, then I will be uploading that soon. I would also caveat that with the fact that Tommy Tippy have just launched a similar version of a wireless kind of wearable pump to this, and it is cheaper, and I haven't used it. So if you're looking for a comparison between those two, maybe find somebody that's used them both. I've only used the LV ones, but I do really rate them. Next up, what else have I got to talk about? The car seat, the Cybex Cloud Z car seat. We've had with Enzo, we had the Cloud Q, which was the previous model with River, and it is excellent. It is still excellent. They basically changed it so that you could rotate it in the car. However, they've just launched, I feel like it's the Cloud Z2 or something like that. It's a newer model that goes flat in the car. I was literally like, are you kidding me? This has come out 3 months after I've had a baby. I think it was 2 months after I had a baby. I was like, no. There's no point in me like upgrading to that, because I feel like he sleeps happily in it anyway in the car. He loves it. It's a very comfortable seat. That's the other thing I would say. Aside from the fact that it does go flat, which is super handy, because like I'm doing now, you can, you know, go somewhere that you need to go in the car. They fall asleep in the car seat, And in a regular car seat, you have to take them out. They're not really supposed to stay in there for longer than a certain amount of time, which when they're newborns is well, when they're newborn, I think they say half an hour, but when they're a little bit bigger like he is now, they say 2 hours. Sometimes in the morning he'll nap for 3 or 4 hours. So I would have to take him out of the car seat, risk waking him up to put him somewhere flat, but because they then just go flat, he can stay in it. He's still in it right now. I mean, they're pretty heavy, I would say. That's the one thing. I don't know exactly how much he weighs now, but I think he's about 6.5 kg plus the car seat. He's heavy to pick up in it. However, it's worth the compromise between having a lightweight car seat. The fact that it goes flat is awesome. And the new one goes flat in the car as well, which is even better. I also think they are more comfortable than a lot of other car seats. So I've got a lot of friends whose babies hate the car, and I'm aware it could just be they hate the car. But a lot of them, I look at the car seats and I'm like, that car seat does not look comfy. It's like, kind of like, I don't know, especially the Maxi Cosi ones. And this isn't a diss against Maxi Cosi as a brand, because Riv has a Maxi Cosi car seat, like the like high back booster thing, because she's nearly 5. And it's excellent. It's super comfy. It's really compact. It's very easy to fit. We love it. But I feel like their baby seats, like their newborn seats, just don't look that comfy. Like the babies look a little bit like I don't know, uncomfortable. And most of the babies that I have like spoken to their parents that don't like the car are not, I haven't, like, I think I've spoken to one person whose baby doesn't like the car that's in a Cybex car seat. Most of the babies I know that have this car seat love the car. And I mean, Enzo loves it. Could be fluke, but to me it looks comfortable, and they look way more comfortable in it. It also looks really sleek as well. And the colour, in case you're wondering, the colour we have is River Blue, which is a complete coincidence. River actually picked this colour. When I first got it, I was like, oh, I don't know if it's a little bit bright. I don't know, because obviously you use it as a buggy a lot of the time. I put it on the buggy wheels, and so you've got like a turquoise buggy essentially. But I actually love it. I really love it. I think it's such a happy colour. And Riv's actually got the bright pink. So in the back of my car is like one bright pink car seat and one turquoise car seat. It's like fun colours in the back of my car. Love it. Another thing that I would say that I have really, really rated is the Tommy Tippy UV sterilizer. Again, something that didn't exist when we had Riv. We had the steam ones with Riv, which I would say they are, I think the UV one is around £100, depending on, you can obviously get it on offer, things like Amazon Prime Day. I think my friend got one for about £70 on Amazon Prime Day. You can get, obviously they'll have Black Friday offers, etc. And the sterilizer ones are around the £70, £65, something like that. So there's quite a big difference in price. However, if it's something that you have the budget for, I would say they are excellent. So what the difference is between a steamer sterilizer and a UV sterilizer, obviously everything comes out sterile, but with the UV one, it actually dries it as well, so you can wash up bottles or breast pumps, whatever you're wanting to wash, dummies, etc. Whatever you're wanting to wash and sterilize, you can wash them, put them straight in there, and it dries them and sterilizes them. And then there's also a storage mode as well, so it like re-UV like blasts them every now and again if you want to kind of like open it, take one out, etc. What I tend to do is do like one load a day, so like put everything in there and then take everything out and then keep it, so like keep the bottles all kind of screwed up so they stay sterile. But it is a game changer having dry bottles and not having to either dry them or like, I mean, because that's the thing with the sterilizer, right? If it's the steam sterilizers, sterilize them, but then they're soaking wet, you have to dry them, and then they're not really sterile anymore, even if you're using a piece of kitchen towel. It's, again, more waste kitchen towel, which we don't use kitchen towel, we always use tea towels. But obviously when you're doing something like that, they say to use kitchen towel, extra waste, but also it's still not sterile because the kitchen towel's not sterile. So I don't know, the whole thing is just a bit like messy when it's wet and just not ideal. The UV one I really, really rate. The one thing I would say is that the actual like inside of it is a little bit small. I wish it fitted more in it. And I feel like the configuration of the like shelves could have been slightly better because the bottom shelf is a little bit too small. However, really good. I was worried when we first got it that it takes 60 minutes to do a cycle of a drying and a sterilizing cycle. And I was worried that would be way too long because obviously the steamer sterilizers, I think they're like 8 minutes or something like that. It's much quicker, but when you know that it takes that long, like I said, we just tend to do it once a day and then it's done, and then it just, you know, it's fine. And if we do ever need to sterilize anything in a hurry, I also have the microwavable like bag sterilizers that are really handy for if you're out and about and you're at someone's house and you might need to sterilize something. I always have one of those in my bags anyway, but to be honest, I've never had to use it. I thought I would have had to use it, but I haven't. Like, you just kind of work around it. It seems long, but it's not. The other thing that I've loved is the Halo Bassinet, which is our kind of bedside crib. We've used this for the entire time that Enzo's been alive. He doesn't sleep next to me anymore. He sleeps like at the end of the bed. So a lot of the features that we loved in the beginning when they're newborn, we're not necessarily using now, like the swivel element of things. But I still love it. I love the fact you can see through it. I love the height. You can have him quite high up, because we actually moved him from right beside me to the end of the bed because he's really noisy. And we found the same thing with Riv. Like, they just kind of snort and fart and like groan throughout the night. So being at the end of the bed, like, we can still hear him if there's like, if he cries or if there's a problem, but he's not like immediately by my head and waking me up with every single breath. So anyway, so we're not using all of the features now, but for the first when did we move in? About 2 weeks ago. So for the first 2.5 months, literally just, it's an absolute godsend, especially if you have a C-section. You can rotate it like right over the bed, the side comes down. It has the vibrating mode thing on it, which is the more premium one. You can get like the basic one and the more premium one, which has like vibrating music, a night light. We didn't use any of the other stuff, but the vibration mode he actually loved. When he was tiny, it would just put him right to sleep. We'd put him in there and he would just drift off, and he was amazing. He loved it. We never had any issues with him going down to sleep in it, even though it feels like, this is the thing with baby like beds like that, the newborn beds, the mattresses are so hard. You feel them and you're like, how are you gonna sleep on that? But they do. And what else about it that we've loved? Just, yeah, really, I don't love the way it looks, to be honest, but it's just not, I don't think any like baby cribs are particularly like incredible looking, those like tiny little bedside ones. The one thing I would say downside to it is the fact that it's not actually very big, and that's partly because he's just a really big baby. Like, I feel like most people see him and assume he's about 5 months old when he's 3 months old, and they're designed to last up to 6 months. So he is like filling it now, to the point where I'm like, do we maybe need to get the travel cot in our bedroom to use for the next few months that he's in our bedroom, because he's gonna run out of space soon. Like, yeah, he's a big baby. That's the one downside with it, but other than that, I would 100% recommend it as a bedside crib. Really love it. What else have we liked? Oh, the last one actually for the newborn favourites is the Nuna travel cot, which again, I've spoken about loads before when we had Riv. It is the best quality travel cot out there. I would say it is expensive for a travel cot. So if you are not going to be using a travel cot a lot, if you're not going to be kind of travelling or going to stay over in places that aren't at home, probably not worth it. However, we invested in one with Riv and we used it tons with her, and we're still loving it with him. He loves it. He stayed over a few times, like at my mum's and things like that, with us, and it's just a really comfy kind of place to sleep for him. I also love that they have the raised section that you can, well, like, I don't even know what you would call it. They have the raised bit that you can remove it when they get bigger and they can stand up, but when they're tiny, it's so good to have that because you don't have to lean over so far to pick them up. And I, having had a C-section, but I also have had like lower back problems my entire adult life, and so to have that is so much better than to be trying to pick up a baby from like basically floor level and leaning over. And they're just really comfy. Like, the mattress is really spongy and the quality is excellent. Our one still looks brand new. We used it loads with Riv. We'll use it with him, and then we can probably resell it to somebody because it barely looks like it's been used. So worth the investment in terms of quality and actual like comfort for the baby, I think, if you're going to be using a travel cot a lot. So that is it for my newborn favorites. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you're having a baby, I hope you found it useful. Some of my favorite things that I've used with Enzo and River, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye guys.